他没有演技的天分。哇，那对白讲起来完全没有节奏的。
And they always like ask me to act because hey, your father is an actor, you should be able to do it.
他突然间告诉我还要离开电视台，你离开电视台你还可以做什么？
没有饭吃了。Hi everyone, welcome to DNA, a show where I chat with celebrity parents and their kids to talk about family, growing up, and what fame looks like behind the cameras. I'm Rebecca Lim, and today we have with us, in my opinion, Singapore's very own Richard Gere, Zhu Houren, and his son Joel Chu. Welcome,欢迎大哥. Welcome, Joel. So I would assume that growing up with a dad, who is in this media industry, he would be busy working non-stop. Did you have an opportunity to spend a lot of time with your dad growing up?
Actually, from what I remember, when I was growing up, I don't really have any memories of him not being around.
Oh yeah?
I always have memories of him coming home, weekends together. He'll make time for us, for me and my brother, to bring us to swim. Yeah, 我没有印象，你好像很少不在家。
小时候很少在一起。
Maybe the good memories are always.
那个时候是太小了。
都是孩子，都是母亲管教。讲起来都惭愧。现在我有个孙，7个月了，我才想起我以前对他们小时候的前面7个月的那些没有了。没有回忆了，所以那时候真的是浪费了这段时间。其实很珍贵的那段时间啊！你刚刚做妈妈你也知道，对不对？这段时间没工作没关系，最重要是更多时间陪自己的孩子。
对，所以那个时候你完全没有那种想法，就是拼为了家庭，
都是以自己为主，好像认为孩子都是交给太太就可以了。
I think now that I am in the same industry, I can kind of relate, even though I don't have a child, but my goal now is career first. Like I want to, just earn as much money as possible, hustle. I think I can understand where he's coming from, and I totally respect that.
但是现在听到Joel说，其实在他记忆中，没有你不存在的那种感觉，你会不会比较欣慰一点？
有，当然，因为我从来没有问过他小时候对我的印象是怎么样。是上你这个节目你才问。
我觉得父子之间就很难讲这种心里话，对不对？从小都不会谈心事这些的吗？还是
很少哦？
没有。
就他分手啊，还是
对，很少，
完全没有。你有没有跟你妈妈聊？没有。因为有一幕我觉得挺难忘的，就是 Joel 和家园结婚的那一天，是一个我从来没有看过 Joel 的那种很浪漫、很痴情、很敢于表露他的感情的一面。但我相信他会这么做，也是因为他看到你和 Vera 姐那么恩爱的一种关系。
他是一个很容易哭的男人。
Joel，
感情很丰富的。其实他不知道，我年轻的时候也是这样，他动不动就哭了。拍戏都不用放眼泪了。是这样的，所以那天晚上的那个婚礼的时候，他一下子就哭，一下子就哭，
唱歌也哭，弹吉他也哭。
他因为那个流露出来是很自然，他就会流露出来。
我真的很感动哎，因为要看到男生在那么多人的面前表现他们真正的爱，跟他们真正的感情，这个是不容易的一件事情。好像很多演员的爸爸妈妈，他们就带他们的孩子到片场，就希望可以有空档的时候多陪他们。我
没有，从来没有，一次都没有。2个孩子都没有。
为什么呢？
这是我工作的地方，我没有想到带孩子进去，而且我们做演员又不是说有自己的 office 还是什么，还有一个空间给他，你看很危险的这些东西，对不对？灯掉下来，我觉得没有这个必要。
So you didn't hang out with any of the second generation?
No, you know about them when I entered the industry.
They all hang out together, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel then, like joining late into the game?
I guess when I entered the industry, I felt a bit not in this gang, but I think it's all right, I guess. We are all friends at the end.
So you didn't follow Dad on set, but you watch his shows growing up.
I think most of the shows that I watch is those that he produced. Because you always bring tapes home. 你记得吗？你每次 like 你带那些 VHS 回家，然后我们在家看。
你不会好像开电视然后给他们看，诶，你爸爸在电视上啊？
没有，
没有啊，
从来没有。
为什么？
因为他喜欢，他会自己看嘛。对对，
他完全对你的。
尤其我太太，我演过什么戏，她有时候都不知道。我家里真的是没有人支持我，真的。
好可怜哦。
对，我做了40年的演员啊。
你还忙着为他们赚钱哦。
其实我太太有时候看说，好的不说，哎，你演得很不自然。你看刘千毅演得多自然，哇！所以我对刘千毅很有意见。
So when did your interest in drama or performing start?
When I was in secondary school,
I don't know.
I did drama, those like end of year plays.
Yes, like Christmas. And
Yeah, and they always like ask me to act because hey, your father is an actor, you should be able to do it.
You should be able
yeah,
to.
Yeah.
我记忆中是一次他在中学的时候跟朋友弄拍了一些视频，很无聊的那种，我就发现哎，他没有演技的天分。哇，那对白讲起来完全没有节奏的，很糟糕的。
我的天哪！
Yeah.
那他决定当全职演员的时候，你会不会？
开始是有点担心啦。样子长得好看不演戏的人很多，为什么会是我的儿子呢？对不对？到现在为止，我都认为他的戏还是不行。可是我不会去教他，我只能够提醒他。比如最近他有参与我们的电影演出一样，我的愿望是我孩子做导演。我有演，我小儿子都有演，哇，多么圆满的事情！是，可是这个东西不能够强逼，对不对？那个角色适不适合他呢？那我就交给导演，就是我另外一个儿子，结果让他们去沟通。你看他这样样子是不是瘦了很多？
瘦很多
对，他瘦了10公斤，
就是为了这个角色。
因为戏里面是一个要跑马拉松的人，他以前那个样子出来的话，人家你教你儿子演戏都演不像，
这是拉线来的，
所以他必须要改变。所以他改变了以后，他跑出来就比较像。
所以这部电影脚踏实地，对吗？
对，脚踏实地，所以他要脚踏实地。
你对于他这次的演出的表现，打几分？
我没有看到他演出，不过我从他哥哥那边，他有告诉我，不过他哥哥说叫我不要告诉他。所以今天他在这边，
不用你告诉我就好。
就是说这个角色找他没有找错，那个最重要。
Do you go through scripts with your dad at home, like practice?
My first few acting jobs, yes.
How was that?
Not fun.
No.
Because a lot of the scenes are with girls, like couple. So it's very hard to go through that scene with my dad. And then like his version of charming might not be my version of charming, So it's very different, yeah.
And your brother is a filmmaker. Other than genes, would you say that both of you chose careers because of the influence your dad had?
I would say yes, because my dad is also a very tasteful person when it comes to shows and movies, and then he always brings me to like movie premiere, and then he'll like critique, and then from there I understand film, I understand acting, and I think that builds my career, I would say, and my interests in acting.
后人大哥 Joel 小的时候，你对他的理想工作其实是什么？
其实2个孩子我都没有想过，尤其是我们家族啊，我弟弟、我妹妹的，他们的孩子都很优秀，读大学的读剑桥，英国剑桥的，拿奖学金的，所以我跟我太太时常希望他们2个至少都要读大学嘛，对不对？那
结果
跟我们这样不务正业，可是有时候你要相信基因。对不对？平时他看的我们东西，原来他有吸收下来。他吸收了以后，他走的是幕后；他吸收了以后，他走的是幕前。所以说，父母不是去管教孩子，而是应该是支持跟鼓励他。所以希望他们可以走得远一点。就好像他突然间告诉我还要离开电视台，我会吓了一跳。你离开电视台，你还可以做什么？
没有饭吃了。
可是他离开，还有他的看法。我必须要支持，虽然我会有一点担心。
Did you have to think a lot before you made that decision to leave MediaCorp?
I think the decision was quite easy. I know what I want, so I know and I know where I want to go.
Yeah.
At that point, I other than acting, I also would like to explore social media because I enjoy doing content, especially from COVID. You know, a lot of time we show a lot of videos.
Day in the life of a mega awesome superstar. I always wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and start my day with 1,000 Buddha claps. Then I'll shadow box for 30 minutes.
Wow.
谢谢发哥经理，发哥来，发哥有请发哥颁发的是10大最受欢迎。
And you are a very good content creator.
Thank
You're
you.
very funny. You know, has a very weird sense of humor, but very intelligent sense of humor. And we get to see a very different side of Joel and also Horan Daga through your content.
我到现在觉得他的选择是对的，至少他离开的那几年，我的收入增加了。因为他去搞一些社交媒体，结果呢引起注意，然后也找我来一起拍广告了，所以我的收入那几年增加。
But how do you feel, you know, being known as Zhu Horan's son?
I think there's pressure when it comes to acting. I think everybody expects me to be a certain level of standard. But other than that, I think it's a very good branding. I embrace it. Like, you know, I get a lot of father and son jobs also.
Yeah.
A lot of advertisements also. And we get to share this platform, we get to do what we love together. I think that's also good.
Have you ever felt like you were given opportunities just because of your dad?
I think definitely. I think the reason why MediaCorp wants to sign me in the first place, I think because they want to leverage on this father and son branding and all. And when I get jobs, there's always this like sense of like I'm only here because of my dad, and like people will somehow like treat me nicer, I guess. So
Have there
there's-
been instances where you were treated nicer or given special treatment, maybe on set or at events?
I remember that there is this director who's known to be quite impatient, but he was rather patient with me. Because I think he knows he's quite close with my dad lah, and then they go way back. Even until now, like when I get acting jobs, sometimes my dad will like, hey, do you have any roles? I can just find my son lah. Then when I get it, then sometimes I'll feel like, do I deserve it, or is it like because my dad like pulls strings and all? That's why also like sometimes I appreciate auditions more. Like it gives me a chance to prove myself. Acting aside, social media, I think I kind of put myself out there in a way that I am quite a creative person, and clients will find me because of my talents and my videos. So I try to put a name for myself in that way. Yeah.
做演员也好，做 social media 也好，我40年来经验就是说，有些东西呢是这样的，吃蜜太多是不好。蜜糖就是人家赞美你的话。我30岁当演员，我没有参加过训练班，我签约没有多久我就当男主角。
所以你是怎么被发现的？其实Horan大哥，
我是被发现的。
因为你帅，又回到这个。
我是因为有客串演，他们就发现就签。我本来还以为要签做导演，结果他们那个时代男演员不够，所以我赶到了那班车。所以半年后我就当男主角。很多人哇，演戏很自然啊，很不错，人又长得好看，就说全部都来了。然后有一天有一个导演说：“哎，你演戏啊，整天喜欢就皱眉头。”另外一个监制说：“哎，你演戏生气的时候嘴巴歪。”然后另外一个说：“你讲话口齿不清，以后呢，如果真正录音的时候，你会被淘汰。”这些话后来都进入我的脑袋了，这些都不是蜜糖了，这些都是一些批评，可是好意的批评。所以这个行业让我觉得就是说，要听真正的评语，而不要听太多的赞美。
所以就因为这样，你就在家里会给 Joel 你真实的评语。
对，我要让他知道一样东西，就是做这个行业的这个东西，不只是天分，也不是说后天的努力，而且真的很谦虚，受教是很重要。
So your dad has always given you constructive criticism for your acting, but now he is doing social media. He's a TikTok star.
Yes.
He has almost 70,000 followers on the TikTok, more than me, you know. So do you now give him any feedback on his social media content.
So the funny thing is, right, every time he needs to post things, right, he still cannot get it right. Maybe now he got it right. It becomes so bad to the point sometimes he have to drive over to my place, right, and like, 你可以帮我 post 这个吗？为什么我没有那个 plus 的？怎么放 link 那个
Hashtag
all those things。
现在会了吗？
现在会有时候会忘记。现在我开始叫树神大哥，
所以你们3个当中，你是最厉害的吧？
最厉害的是刘千亿。
哦，真的？
因为他最早玩 social media，我是跟着他。
What do you appreciate most about him as a father？
你不要弄他哭了。
我怕你先哭哦，后人大哥。
I think he wears many hats in the family. A breadwinner, a father, a husband, and he does everything, every single job very well. And that's something.
It's okay.
Thank you. I guess it somehow like allows me to understand how it feels like to be in his shoes and how hard it is to just juggle work and family. Although what I experience is just like maybe a small percentage of how he feels, I think it makes me appreciate him.
No, I totally understand how you feel because after being a mom, I appreciate my mom a lot more too. You know, 我当妈妈之前，我跟我妈是很不耐烦的。你讲的对，主要是一个很容易哭的人。没有开玩笑。No, but really, thanks for that.
其实一个家里很多时候是有一件事情发生以后，我们才知道之间的感情有多深。我记得3年前我做了一个脚的手术，
是
一做完以后我就后悔了，因为那个脚肿得这么大，而我之前更加约好的那些去 event 啊，还是去教会啊，怎么办呢？我完全没有意料他会帮我，他就把他的东西全部一讨，看我跟谁越好，他就是载我去。然后我在台上的时候，他把轮椅整个抬上去，所以我才认为他那时候健身真的有帮助。所以当你有事情的时候，你才知道孩子长大了。
那身为父亲，你最放心不下的是什么？
很多东西你必须要交托，你必须要给他成长，不是说你放心不下他就没事，也不是说你放心很下他就很成功。所以路他必须走出来了，尤其年纪大了，对不对？能够做的不多，只能够继续关心他们，不要担心太多，担心帮不了忙。
You know, this show is called DNA, and DNA represents different things to different people. So, what do you think DNA represents for the both of you, other than your good looks? Yeah.
I think DNA, of course, we are related by blood and all, but then I think it's the relationship, the environment, the upbringing that I was under, the things my parents taught me, the things that influenced me. It's because of that and that upbringing that makes me who I am today.
父子的关系是亲情，是家庭，好像你说是 DNA， 是实在是一个很亲密的东西。我们人口会老化，人口老化，其实我们最担心的是什么？老人孤独，对不对？所以我觉得我们自己父子的关系呢，不是说他要养我一辈子，而是那个亲情有在的话，这辈子我不担心。因为他们就在我旁边。
Well, thank you so much
Thank you
for
so
sharing.
much.
It's been a wonderful conversation, and it really answered a few of my unanswered questions about my dad leaving so early as well. You know, so it's a very comforting conversation. So
你
thank
也
you.
让我们回答得很舒服。
没有，谢
谢
谢，
你。
谢谢你们。Thank you,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so much. If you like our video, do remember to like and subscribe to our channel.
And comment down below who do you think is funnier.
See you next week. Bye bye.